Welcome, people of planet Earth and all planets beyond. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Josh, and welcome to Heat Check. This is our top 10 countdown of the highest selling vintage Levi's on eBay over the last 7 days. So let's take a look at what made the list. So this week's list is a little weighted towards the top end. It wasn't as many high-end sales as we normally would see, but that actually is kind of interesting because we get to see a lot of things that we don't normally see on the list. I don't normally sell high enough to make the list, so there's some really cool pieces that have never been on the list before that you might, I think, enjoy. My favorite piece is actually lower on the list, was not one of the high-end pieces, and is one of the items that was first-time appearance so far this week. So pretty cool, pretty excited, so let's go ahead and take a look. Starting us up at number 10, we have this 1987 vintage Levi's 501 dead stock. This would not be salvage or anything like that, but it is shrink to fit. And you know we talk about shrink to fits on here all the time. Shrink to fits are rare and hard to come by, and they are just getting rarer as time goes on. So to find a pair of shrink to fits that are brand new dead stock, especially in a good size 36, 34, is a treat. And this is hard to come by, and that's why it sold for $324.99 plus shipping. All right, next on the list we have these apparently 1960s Big E 501 jeans with salvage denim. I'm actually going to say these are probably not 60s, or if they are, they're late 60s, just by the majority of the darker orangier thread here. We do have some of that yellow thread there on the bottom. We have salvage, obviously. We look down here, we will not see a V-stitch. We won't see hidden rivets. We'll see mostly that more orange colored thread, so I'm guessing this is probably early 70s, maybe late 60s. Lots of distress, and you can see some pretty major flaws on all these elements here. You might like that might add some value to you, but for the most part it does probably bring the value down just a bit. Still a great cool pair of jeans, a good size pair of jeans, 32 by 26 and a half. That's actually rather short, but still a pretty good pair here. Sold for $499.99. Here's an interesting pair. We have these vintage 1950s Levi's. These are 701s. These would have been for women. We don't often see these on the list, but with a little bit of a lower day, we are able to check out some of these. You can see here we have, let's actually zoom up right here. We have the hidden rivets, which would have been obviously indicative of the time. Notice it does have a zipper. This was a women's pair. They did have a zipper. My guess is it's a gripper zipper or a talon zipper. It could be a Scoville zipper. It could be a couple of different things, but still a beautiful pair of jeans here. You do not find these very often. These are obviously made for women and do have a zipper, so they're not button fly. They are selvage though, I believe. Yep, you can see the selvage right there. A little bit different selvage than you normally would see on a pair from this era, but still a super cool pair. Hard to come by. This pair sold for $600. Then we have a really interesting one. Here we have a vintage motorcycle. Levi's, it says 60s. Probably in one of the early Type 3s is my guess. Looks like, I don't know if I can make out whether or not it's a Big E. It says it's Big E, so we'll probably say it's Big E. But this is really interesting. Super distressed, but tons and tons of wear. Obviously belong to a biker. You can see the patches are from the 70s and from probably mostly just the 70s. It looks like 73. Beautiful jacket. This is probably most definitely a 60s jacket, just by the feel that I'm seeing here, the color thread, etc., etc. But it's still beautiful. Pretty interesting that what it went for, considering its condition. But all these rare patches and stuff, the biker stuff, really does help sell it. This jacket went for $650 with free shipping. Definitely a really cool personalized piece. Unique. It's one of a kind. You're not going to find anything that's quite like this particular piece, so someone had to have it. All right, then we have this 501 from the mid-60s Big E selvage. Really great size, 30 by 31 and a half. Lots of a deep color left on this. This used 501 does have a little bit of a discoloration there on the thigh, knee area. But still, overall, in great condition. You can see the arcuates are broken up a little bit. You can see what I believe is probably the wear of the hidden rivets, though I don't think they actually show any hidden rivets in this listing, which is unfortunate. We do have a V-stitch, so we're clearly in the mid-60s here. And if we have the hidden rivets like I think we do, even though they don't show it, we're definitely at least in the mid-60s. We don't have a tab, which is a bummer, but you can see that wear right there is probably indicative of the hidden rivets sort of wearing through. Now, this is a beautiful pair of 501s, pretty standard pair of 501s, and it makes sense. What it went for asking price of $999.99 plus shipping. Beautiful pair of 501s in great condition. It is hard to find mid-60s 501s like this, so that's an awesome find, an awesome sale. Now for one of my favorites on this list today, this 1950s Levi's Shorthorn Denim Western Pearl Snap shirt. You don't find these very often, that is for sure, and especially in this condition. Look at the beautiful denim. This is a really nice, high-quality denim. You can see all the pearl snaps on here. You can see the yoke that's made by those triangles on the shoulders. Now let's take a look at this. The tag is really intact, still really nice. Lots of color in that tag. Pretty surprising after so many years. But beautiful wear in this denim. This is an exceptional piece. This is definitely one of those you would not be surprised to see on some celebrity or something, just because of the quality of the denim is so nice and so high. This is your quintessential denim Western shirt for sure, and this is a great specimen of a piece, which explains its sale price of $1,000 plus shipping. It seems really high for like a shirt, but like I said, these are pretty hard to come by, especially in this condition. So people take it when they can get it. Fantastic piece of Levi's history, and a good sale for the seller. Now the 501 is back. We have these Big E's in apparently dead stock condition. Though I don't necessarily know that it's quite dead stock. You can see that the patch looks like it may have shrunk around it a little bit, so we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, though, because the color here is so incredibly deep. You can see there's some fraying, so that's why I probably wouldn't call this quite dead stock. But the color is certainly dead stock. Wow, what an incredibly deep blue. You can see almost all of the stitches and the arcuate are in fantastic condition. We do not have a V-stitch, so we're looking at the later end of the 60s. We do have the Big E, obviously. There is a little bit of damage or wear to the Big E tab. They don't show us on the inside, but we don't really need to see the inside because there would not be hidden rivets in this case. But still a beautiful, exceptional pair, particularly in regards to the color. This is hard to come by. Wish the photographs were a little bit lighter, just so that we can get a more accurate representation of the color of this blue. But beautiful jeans, beautiful sale. This guy went for $14.25 plus shipping. Beautiful pair of 501s. Now for a pair that truly is dead stock, we have these 501s, and they say likely from the 70s. That looks about right. We do have a little E, but the jeans are in incredible condition. Remember, shrink to fit. That is rarer and rarer. We have a 6 for the factory code. We have beautiful red line selvage. We do have a tag that I'm a little bit confused here. With the 6 is the factory code. The other 6 would probably be 1976 here in this case. It is odd that the 0 is there, but like I always say about Levi's, there's always an exception to everything. But super crisp tab. Everything else looks fantastic. We got the 66 there. These would, I guess, likely be the 66 model that everybody's raving about. But beautiful pair of 501s, size 40 by 31. This actually, I think, went on auction, didn't get paid, went back up on auction, and then finally did get paid. This one sold for $14.50. Beautiful pair of dead stock 501s from the 70s. Now at number 2, we have another pair of 501s. These appear to be probably from the 50s. We do see that offset belt loop there. We can see that there's a lot of the pale yellow thread, which was common for this era. This pair of jeans looks like it's in really good condition for its age. We do have selvage. You can barely make out some lines in there. Big E, obviously. It's all the stuff that we would expect here. We do have hidden rivets. So we're definitely looking at the younger side of the 60s or the 50s on this particular pair. A beautiful pair of 501s. This is probably one of the better pair of 501s from the late 60s, early 50s, or the 50s, the 50s, 60s era that we've seen on this list. So this is a beautiful one right there. You do have some of that wear from the hidden rivets, which was one of the reasons they got rid of them in the first place. Later on, because they would wear through on those points and then scratch things up. But this pair still has tons of color, very few major defects, that's for sure. And I believe it's a pretty good size. Does it say the size here? Yeah. Waist 29 inches and inseam 31, so a pretty good wearable size for a lot of people. Beautiful pair of 501s here, an exceptional looking pair, and good specimen of a pair of 501s. This one sold for $1,500 plus shipping. Now before we get to number 1, I do want to remind you that we recently opened up memberships. If you want to support the channel, hit the join button below. It's just $2.99. It does give you access to a members only live stream on Thursdays. So really appreciate your support if you do, and if you don't, that's awesome. We really appreciate you watching nonetheless. We do want to remind you we also have another heat check for vintage t-shirts on Fridays. Alright, then at number 1 is a Type 1, a beautiful Type 1 at that. We have the one pocket. We do have the pleats down the center. We have some damage here and there, you can see, or in some tears and some defects, stains and such. No patch to speak of. We have some beautiful selvage on the inside, that pale yellow thread that we look for in older jeans. Again, no patch or label on the inside. We do have the buckle back. You can see that here. I wonder if they have a better picture of the buckle back. There is the big E. Let's take a look, see if they do. It does not appear that they do. Do they have a picture of the back at all? Yeah, there we go. So this has a beautiful buckle back. It looks like it's still intact, which is sometimes hard to come by. Still plenty of good color in this particular jacket, so definitely a high point there. We do have some stains on the arms, but that's to be expected at this age. You can't really help it. Many of these will have stains like that as well. Otherwise, a beautiful Type 1 to finish off the list. This jacket sold for $36, $39, $89 with 25 bids and shipping on top of that. What a fantastic jacket. Good sale for the seller and a really great jacket for the buyer. This Type 1 tops the list this week. So obviously that Type 1 is super dope and fantastic. It deserves to be on the top of the list. But my favorite this week was clearly that Levi's Shorthorn denim Western shirt. Such a cool piece. So glad that it made the list this week, and hopefully we'll see more of those type of things on this list as people just get more familiar with some of these more oddball Levi's things. So super cool. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.